Welcome to today's videos for something growing in my garden. This actually is our first YouTube video ever. So today I'll be showing you how I planted my 10 sunflowers. The process that I went through, and I will be showing you the entire process. So this is the lengthy video. I plan to also upload a shorter version for the people who just want to see the roots and the other cool images. Make sure to stick to the end of the video, because in the end of the video we got our eye on something very beautiful. As you could have seen in the background, I'm currently trying to fill up all of my pots. For these pots I used some regular potting soil, because after they've gone out of these pots, I'll be planting them in the full ground, where they'll have all the nutrients that they need. This is just a simple, a little bit fertilized ground. As you could have seen in the beginning of the video, I did all my germinating inside a small little bowl with some water in it. I put a little plastic foil on top of it and I stored it in a dark and warm place. At this point you can see that all of the pots have now been filled up. The image might become a little bit unsharp, but that won't stay around for long, because now I'm going to make some holes into the ground to fill with seed. As you can see, the holes that I'm making are pretty much around 3/4 of a finger long, which probably is around a few centimeters or a few inches. You can plant these pretty much the depth you would like, but don't plant them too deep. Just make sure to not plant them on top of more than 10 centimeters of ground. After making the holes, I'll be putting them in from their little place of water, and they'll finally touch ground for the first time ever. Alright, so now you can see that I'm trying to grab some out of the water. The first one I'm grabbing does not have too big of a root system, so I'll be putting it in the hole and covering up with some sand. Later on, I will water this sand to make sure that it still is pretty wet, because in the first few days, the best thing is to keep all of those pretty wet. The second one also did not have a huge root system, but there will be some with an extensive root system already. I tried to get the camera to get a good angle, but as you can see, it didn't really quite get up. The next one I got, as you can see, that had a little bit of a root. After just a few days, the root system already began to grow, which I think is truly amazing. As you can see, this one is one with a pretty big root system, and this one is one of the few that really made me do it on this day. Because if I would have kept this any longer in the water, then it would probably be a bad thing. Once the roots really begin to grow, you want to get them into the sand, because then they can get their nutrients to produce their new leaves. And if they stay too long in the water, you will see that the nutritious facts of the seed will go down, because they will already be used to build up the roots. That one I threw in pretty quickly. And you can see just a few left. This one had a pretty interesting root system. This kind of was like a roller coaster with almost like a loop in it. Very interesting to see what kind of root systems these plants all entail. After these have been grown to their, let's say 15 centimeters high, maybe a little bit more, then we'll move them outside. We're going to be moving them on the outside, which is a little bit on the north side of things, so they won't be getting full sun all day. I'm thinking about getting some other sunflowers, which would then be perfect for in the back garden, to see what the difference would be. So maybe we could even do the same seeds once again. And as you can see now, most of them have been planted. You can see that we now have 10 pots standing on a desk in our living room. They're standing in front of the room where days are currently pretty hot. We also planted them. We planted them just before full moon, and when the moon arrives, they will have the benefit of the extra light during the nighttime. And then a beautiful thing in my living room caught my eye. It's this beautiful flower, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. Let me know what you guys think about the first video of something growing in my garden, and let me know what you guys would like to see me grow in my garden.